Hello and welcome to another For the Love of Truth podcast episode. I'm called Adrian. In this episode, I want to talk to you about pH and how pH is a measure of voltage and voltage is healing. Now, I have written a book about health and it's really just notes to myself. And if you want to read about that, you can go to fortheloveoftruth.co.uk and click on my book about health, or you can go to alternativeprinciplesforhealth.info. Now, in there, it became very apparent as I was doing my research that alkalizing your body is extremely important. In fact, we're designed to run slightly alkaline. Now, pH is a measure of acid and alkalinity. pH 7 is neutral, above 7 is alkaline, and below 7 is acid. Now, what I didn't have when I wrote the book was an understanding that pH is also a measure of voltage, and that's something I've only recently come across. Now, if you look at acid and alkaline, it's very hard for you to get sick if you have an alkaline body, whereas when you get an acid body, you tend to get sick, an acid environment, if you will. And for the longest time, I had questions in the back of my head. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to read you the section that I've added to the book in the last week, maybe 10 days now. I'm going to refer you to the work of Dr. Jerry Tennant. I'm also going to put a big mind map I made of 2 videos of his that I watched, where I extracted a lot of knowledge before I started reading his books, and they'll be available, or that mind map will be available to you to download if you want, and that will be on fortheloveoftruth.co.uk. And if you then search for voltage is healing, you'll be able to find the blog entry there. pH is critical, voltage is healing. Alkalization of your system. I'm adding to the contents of this page to incorporate new knowledge and understanding. The original content of the page is below the separated line. When I first wrote this section, it was my cognition that we must maintain an alkaline system to remain healthy. Based on the studies I read and ingested, I accepted this and continue to ask myself some questions. Why is alkaline so important? What is the mechanism? What does it allow, prevent? For years, no real answers came. In January 2021, the questions I was asking were finally answered when I had a deeper look at the work of Dr. Jerry Tennant and his work on voltage is healing. I had looked at this in mid-2020, yet for some reason, the new knowledge did not click into place, which reconfirms my feeling that it is worth revisiting information I have previously taken on board with fresh eyes and fresh ears, and reviewing outstanding questions in my book of questions. I'd highly recommend you taking a look at this 7-minute video, and then the longer video on the YouTube channel, the Thunderbolts Project. And then, if you're interested, having a read of Jerry Tennant's books, such as these: Healing is Voltage, the Handbook; Healing is Voltage, Acupuncture, Muscle Batteries; Healing is Voltage, Cancer's On-Off Switches, Polarity; Healing is Voltage, Healing Eye Diseases. Now, in the description of this video and also of the podcast, there will be affiliate links taking you to Amazon where you can get the books there if you want. To summarize what I gleaned from his work so far, and this is not the complete story, it is just the bare framework to give you something to build on. We are electrical beings. We are powered by electricity. We are affected and effected by electrical fields. We live in an electric universe. And if you want to look more into that aspect, the videos on the Thunderbolts Project on YouTube are a good place to start, and there'll be a link for that in the description. pH is potential of hydrogen and is a measure of acidity and alkalinity. pH is also a measure of voltage. The pH/voltage was something I'd not been aware of. pH 7 is neutral, above 7 is alkaline, below 7 is acid. There are 6 major muscle battery packs in the human body that generate and store electrical energy. Exercise is critical to recharge the battery packs. Our bodies are wired up like a circuit board and have Tesla resonating circuits comprising a coil and a capacitor wired in parallel. This allows for communication with other Tesla resonating circuit systems in your body. Energy is stored in the battery packs in capacitors, in the charged state as ATP and the discharged state as ADP. Fat is critical in the process as an insulator. Our ability to live, grow, repair, and thrive is determined by our ability to create new cells that work. To create new cells that work, we require the ability to increase the voltage from the healthy cell voltage of minus 25 millivolts to minus 50 millivolts. Also, we require all of the raw materials. Note minerals play a critical role here. They make up the new cells and an absence of toxicity that kills the cells as fast as they are made. If any of these 3 are not available, then we cannot make new cells that work and we have chronic long-term illness. Healthy cells operate at a voltage of minus 25 millivolts. If the voltage drops to minus 15 millivolts, we feel tired. If the voltage drops to minus 10 millivolts, then we get sick. If the voltage drops to minus 5 millivolts, then the organs stop working as they should. At 0 millivolts, then the polarity reverses as it does in a rechargeable battery. This makes it impossible to charge the battery until the polarity can be corrected. At plus 5 to plus 15 millivolts, the RNA and DNA is damaged, which is the instruction set for the operation of the cell. At plus 30 millivolts, cancer develops. pH is a measure of voltage, and voltage determines how much oxygen water can carry. We are 75% plus water, so if the voltage is down, the water's ability to carry oxygen is reduced. I read elsewhere that if your blood pH is 7.45 rather than 7.38, it can carry nearly 70% more oxygen. Cancer occurs in cells that are oxygen depleted. The stem cells in the area work with the existing blood supply and create new blood vessels in the area to keep that part of you alive. The medical industry refers to this rapidly growing area as a tumor. However, when viewed with this new information, it becomes apparent that cancer is your body's last-ditch attempt to keep you alive because of a serious problem. It is not something you catch. It is something you create in response to a problem. It is a symptom of a problem, an effect. Here's an example to give you an idea of the process. You hit your thumb with a hammer, it hurts a lot, and possibly some interesting words and sounds are uttered by you. Immediately, your body attempts to increase the voltage in that area to minus 50 millivolts. The blood vessels in the area are dilated because the blood supplies the trucking system for the raw materials, so swelling and inflammation occur, which is all appropriate. Eventually the new cells are created, the damaged area is repaired, and the voltage can drop back to minus 25 millivolts, and the swelling and inflammation subside and the blood supply returns to normal. However, if this power supply line for the electric current to your thumb does not have sufficient voltage in it to create the minus 50 millivolts, and or you do not have all the raw materials available in your body to create the healthy new cells, and or you have toxicity that prevents the creation of the cells because the cells are being killed as fast as they are created, then you have a chronic problem. The teeth are a critical component of the electrical system of the body. The teeth sit on meridians and are connected to everything in the body. They act as circuit breakers. Just like in a car battery, if it gets corroded, then the electrical system and car cannot carry sufficient current and problems occur. When your teeth get corroded, then the voltage in the circuit drops. Root canals are very dangerous. And in Dr. Jerry Tennant's work, he said that in every case, you could trace cancer to a root canal-filled tooth on that circuit. So when faced with an illness, you would look at which muscle battery pack provides power to that area and examine why the voltage is down and why it cannot hold a charge. Also, there is a major power line that runs from the front of the body through the head and down the spine. If this power line is cut, for example, during a C-section, this will affect voltage through the entire system. You also have bioterminals on your front and your back. Emotions are stored as electromagnetic fields in the teeth and the muscle fascia. In the teeth, this blocks the dental pump. Electromagnetic fields reduce voltage. Without going into further detail here, I recommend a deeper study of the work of Dr. Jerry Tennant, since it is my belief, having put all this information together in this book, that his information on voltage is healing, and the role of electricity and all the materials in the body completes the missing piece in this section and gives a much deeper, clearer understanding of how the human body and animals' bodies operate. This gives a very different view of disease. I hope you found that interesting and useful. I would encourage you to go and have a look at the short video of his and then the longer video so that you can get more information on the subject if you're interested in it. And then his books are also fascinating. And I just wanted to let you know once again that you guys are amazing. It's wonderful speaking to you again, and I will speak to you in the next podcast. Take care. Bye-bye.